I can't hear you guys.
It says that you're muted. There's a big muted button on the
I
screen.
didn't do that chat.
Can you hear us now?
Yep, thank you.
Yes, thanks.
Got it.
All right, we're going on to new business. And the first item on the agenda is the North Dock update.
So all of you notice we still don't have hot top. Jordan's has failed us once again. The majority of Jordan's higher up project managers all quit and left Jordan's in a bind. And that's the reason we're not hot top, because all the guys that were running all their projects quit and started their own company on them. So Greg is trying to nail down someone like Rings Paving or something to come in and do this. We still hold a fair amount of money over Jordan's head. So although that we're not paved, we're going to get paved. And we'll probably end up going to saving some money, and I'm assuming we'll be fining Jordan for, you know, I don't know what the right wording. Breaching a contract. And so the only two things that I know of that Jordan hadn't done was there was some plug sealing that they had to do before the hot top went in, and the hot top itself. Those are the two things that were left. The transition ramps are being made, and Greg is sourcing them through the original production people that were going to make them, but Jordan's hadn't ordered them to be done. So we've done that on our own, and they're in production right now. So that's all I have for an update on those. But the highway department will keep doing their best to help us out with keeping the dirt that's there, you know, so no one has any trip hazards or anything. But we're kind of stuck.
All right. That's good. Any questions? Comments? All right. So let's move on to the parking subcommittee update.
Sure. So we met with Chris Ward last month, or the last time we met, and he encouraged us to believe that he was gonna patrol or have an officer patrol the lot overnight, which is a big change for us. So we're hoping that actually happens.
It is happening. There was three people in here today that came in with, what's this? So at sometime between 1 and 2 a.m. last night it happened, and I don't know if it's happened previous, but it did happen last night. So.
Yeah, this is a very encouraging then, because for years they've been putting us off. And so basically we asked for a commitment from him at the last meeting we had, and clearly he's following through with that. And we're gonna meet with him again in the middle of the summer, so the end of July, and just touch base with, you know, how things are going, what can we do to improve things, or everything's going great. Other than that, the other thing that we talked about was finding some relief for Sue. So Sue Murphy, the person who does the, whatchamacallit, parking enforcement during the farmer's market. So she's been getting some abuse from people over time. And he said he'll work that out with her and they'll figure out some system. But she has a radio and she has the ability to write tickets on the spot. There's some remediation for it. Other than that, I think that's, so we'll meet again, in like another month or so and meet with Chris and see what's up. And other than that,
Okay.
that's my report.
You should mention that you had the paving down over here.
Oh, right, that's a good point. So yes, not the paving, the striping.
That's done.
Yep, the striping on the, farmer's market lot. And that looks great and people are using it. I see it all the time. So it's,
What's
Working until
Yeah,
8
thank
o'clock.
for arranging
I
that.
think it added quite a bit. At least people feel like you use it now.
Absolutely.
Sounds good.
Any comments? Thanks. All right, we've got,
Yes, I can't.
Some new business,
but we can get.
but no business. We approved
We'll get another one.
all the applications for the commercial
Get sorted out.
float down here.
Yep, and
And,
you asked me to send 2 letters.
yeah,
One was to Sunrise Tours, Mike Olson, and the other was to the Cadillac Water Taxi, Blair Colby. Both letters have been sent. I have not heard any response yet from the Cadillac, but Mike is here to address your letter.
Mike is here and I'm gonna ask you to talk to us. Yeah. Well, you sent us a letter. Tell us about what you like.
Well, I'm psyched that, you guys have forced me into a situation with Dallas Hodgson because, seems like a good partner to be working with, and I think we're gonna, hopefully, you guys approve this summer, we can, move forward and that'll give me the time I need to hopefully get Sunrise in a better state, in an inspectable state, and, then sounds like Dallas would like to work with me in the future, and, which is something that I've always needed there. Best person I had working for me was, Jason Clark, and he liked the business so much, did well with it, and was able to buy his own boat, so, it'd be nice for me to be able to keep it local and keep that Sunrise going, and
So are you asking that Dallas use your spot at the dock?
yes, I am.
I've looked over everything. They've provided all the insurance information. Mike is gonna work with Dallas, so he's gonna be part of the operation. And I received the insurance paperwork today, listing the town as an additionally insured for $500,000 is what we require. I think he's put in a pretty good effort to, make sure that hole's filled. He's part of the thing. His website that's listed is now filtering everything through into Dallas's stuff. And it will make sure that the spot is used, and I think that's a good thing, and I think that's what we were looking for. It gives Mike a little bit of time to finish getting his boat up and running, so he can run his own boat himself. And
And I'll be naming Dallas as a captain on that in the future, so you guys can name up to three captains, including myself, so Dallas will definitely be listed on that.
So it's basically still under your name.
he's going to be operating under. It will be Pura Vida, the boat, but he's essentially going to operate under the Sunrise Tour / Pura Vida website.
Right. Okay.
So is that kind of like you and Valerie?
It would be very similar to,
Yeah.
They were using
Your boat, just your boat, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're using a different boat, not your boat?
Well, my boat is in repair, and plus the fact that Dallas is a commercial officer, and unfortunately, he was trying to get me on the captain for his boat, so he could take time off this summer, but due to the fact that the commercial officer license prevents that in the state. So,
I didn't realize that. You could run his boat without
He
lobster
could-
fishing.
He could abandon his 800 traps and probably never get his lobster license back ever again.
Mike will be running the boat with Dallas on board from time to time to,
Right.
Okay. That's what confusing.
Yeah, it sounds really confusing to me. So, Mike, let me just explain what I'm feeling, okay? And you just tell me what you think about it. Imagine if you were the person on a waiting list to want to get a permit to run your boat here. Okay? Just put yourself in that position. And now, we're like allowing someone who has a permit previously, but isn't holding up their end of the bargain for whatever it is. Do you wanna let that person, make arrangements and try to figure this out? Or do you want you to be able to get the next permit available so you can run your business now? And that's sort of like, I don't have any stake in it either way. It's just that I feel that if you're not running your business, then we could let someone else do it that wants to. And right now, you're just sort of holding that spot for something.
And holding that spot because things, you're a boat owner, probably understand, sometimes boats don't cooperate with you the way you'd like them to cooperate, especially a 1967 wooden lobster boat, which I've explained the situation.
Okay.
And I do like the fact that he's local, he's got third generation lobster fisheries here, so I don't think by doing what I did do, you guys could have even, your technique brought in a better person to do that, so. I'm very proud of the person I brought in, and we're very proud to continue on.
Does he get a license, a six-pack?
Yes, he's been operating a few years now, and he's been going off Clifton Dock, but that's getting become kind of a missing match, and now there's another person operating out of Clifton, so he just wants something. Sure thing, he's like himself, he's got a young family, so he's looking for, he's a little bit overwhelmed, I think, to try to get the straps hauled, get the bookings for the lobsters, and so he's looking forward to.
And why wouldn't we hire like the next person in line to take your place rather than who you pick then in that regard? So what I'm saying is you've short circuited it and given him a business now rather than
No, I've continued on with my business, but I just needed to
Rather
do
than-
that.
allowing the next person in line to take place.
I don't think you could find a better person in line if that was worth it, my place, but.
Any other comments?
So I see this as kind of a hybrid. And I don't think it falls into all rules. I think Mike has been trying to get this going. And, I think you ought to let us do it. I mean, I think it sounds like a good, you're trying to get it together. Howie, if someone misses the date by a day, are you gonna cancel them? I mean, I think
I'm just saying,
it's
so,
pretty
okay,
hardcore.
all right, so then how long do we allow this sort of hybrid
Well, it sounds like a
thing going on?
pretty good program that he's got planned.
So you're saying for years and years we should do this now? He's saying,
That's silly.
no, it's not, it's already been going on for a few
Well, it
years.
gets reviewed every year.
But John, explain
This is
to
the
us.
first year we've reviewed these.
But-
This is the first year we've reviewed these since I've been on this committee, which has been
Well,
And I mean,
20-something years.
and we have reports that he hasn't been running his operation the last few years.
Yeah.
2 years.
So the last 2 years. So that's 2 years that someone else could have had a business here and been running, and he's holding them on. And if Mike were the person next in line to get business, he'd probably be upset about that.
How long's your boat been out of the water?
2 years.
Not good to have a boat sit out of the water. Every year,
That advice.
it gets worse and worse. I've been a boat builder my whole life.
Right.
More than half of it with wooden boats. And, not having it in the water, every year it's gonna get worse, so I don't know how you're gonna come back unless you get a different boat.
Well, I'll tell you how, because the first time I got the boat, it was in disrepair, and I had to have its own recapacity dock, it was out of water for 4 years, and,
Shouldn't take 4 years to recalk and refasten the boat.
maybe I don't know what years you had, I wish I did, but
In 30 days, and that's 1 or 2 people doing it.
You know what was interesting is how I found out about this meeting is I had people that I don't even communicate with, but they called me up out of the woodwork saying, man, I can't believe you're getting thrown under the bus being a local fellow like that. And here I am, I'm working at it, you really couldn't pick a better group of people, myself, now that I got Dallas on, it couldn't be a more ideal situation for the town than what this is going through right now, so, I mean, I appreciate your input with wooden boats, but I've been there before with this thing, and the top side definitely needs some work, and that's where we're at on it, and I see it happening.
I understand, Howie, and I agree with you, if you're not gonna run the business, the next person in line should, get the opportunity.
And how long?
So, let me interject right now. We
Yeah.
reviewed
Run the
Dallas,
business.
has come
Yeah.
before us before.
This will be the third year, yes, sir.
If your boat's not gonna be ready for a while, maybe you should let somebody else have the opportunity, and when you get your boat finished, then you can come back. And reapply.
How long has the, applications, how long has it since been you picked up a new person to come into the department?
I don't know if that matters.
Well,
If
I
you're-
think it does,
if you're not running
it will,
If you're not running your business, then, the next person in line should be able to do it. If you have a mooring and you don't have a boat on that mooring, then, the next person in line should be able to have that mooring.
right?
It's kind of the same way for me.
I'm sympathetic, in a way, because, if we opened it up, and I don't like the what process that, the raffle process that we have in place right now for allowing anybody to apply. I think that, residents of the town should have a priority. And the raffle process right now allows, well, the last time the raffle was up, one guy from out of town had 3 applications, he got them all, and nobody from town got any. So I encourage Mike to get this boat back in business, and either that or replace it with another boat, and fulfill your spot that you hold. So, and not play any more, not put it off any longer. We're not in a position right now to open the application up. As a matter of fact, I think it would have to be a 6-pack or under both. So, anyway. The spots down here are designated because of dock capacity, but also the parking lot capacity. And so I think we're about maxed out, the way the existing rules are. I encourage you to step forward and get your boat ready, so that you can fulfill the spot.
Thank you for that.
Any other comments?
Are you planning on changing the bylaws so that we have
I think I'm gonna bring them up,
okay,
because
or whatever it is.
sometimes when we put it on the agenda and how we're going to receive applications.
Is that in the ordinance or is that a regulation that lottery system?
John would have to straighten me out on that.
I don't have it right in front of me, but
Yeah,
I think it's something, we should look at in September when we
I
start.
thought it was an odd way, I know when I applied, that you keep your fingers crossed.
You mean the lottery system?
Yeah,
Oh, the lottery is simple. We put out what we want. We accept applications. Everyone that fits all the criteria goes into a hat and somebody
I
draws the
understand,
name.
but there's no priority for residents.
There is not.
And
No.
I feel strongly that there should be.
I do too.
There should be,
Yeah, I agree.
everything in this harbor should be
yeah,
So.
residents first.
I know when I don't know, I've been doing this for 47 years, and somehow I had to apply. And it was like tossing your coin in the lottery to see if you're gonna win.
And like you said, the same person putting in, just because you have 3 boats, you're
Yeah,
put each one of them in and see what happens.
well, we get all three.
So, Mike, I think the gist of this is we're gonna change the ordinance so that we're gonna try to change the ordinance so we can have local people enter for commercial licenses.
Well, at least have a priority.
Or a priority of them.
I think we would have to do something similar to what we were looking at doing with the moorings.
Yeah.
Like if there is 7 spots available,
Right,
one
yeah,
could be non-resident,
Yeah,
but you'd have to do
yeah,
a
We can do
filter
that.
effect,
sure, we can certainly do that.
because you can't close them out completely. That would be
Yeah,
illegal.
I get that.
No.
Okay, so, and then it sounds like Rick is encouraging you to continue and get your boat ready for next season.
And not just me, but I would think if anyone else has a boat out here, I would hope you would throw them under the bus in June, you give them like a year and say, listen, if you don't have it in by this date, then you're done. But definitely with a boat, I think that the leeway of 1 month to say, hey, we're changing the rules, probably should get you know, you're either done, or we're gonna get someone else in here. I mean, I don't think anyone ought to be subject to how this came about. I mean, I think there needs to be some sort of built-in, these boats are finicky,
So,
things can happen. That's just my personal suggestion, I'm not on this committee, so. that's
thank
just-
you. As you said to us, thank you for your advice. When you said that.
And I don't think, Mike, that was never a threat. That was not, get this done in a month or you're gonna lose your boat. It was, we reviewed, we've been dropping the ball by not reviewing every year like we're supposed to, or every 3. So we're getting on track with everything that's in our ordinance now. It sounds like you've been given a heads up and,
Definitely got a good heads up now.
you know,
Well, I think we would like you to keep this spot, no question.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm not trying to kick you out. I'm just saying that someone else should deserve that spot if you're not using it.
And we'd like you to keep this spot, and I think, see if you don't, this puts us in a position where we have to act. I don't know if we should agree to his partnership though. I'm not sure if that's gonna put us in line.
I don't think so, because in my opinion, it would be no different than any one of the other operators having a broken down boat and having to find someone to come in with a boat that had the capabilities to fulfill that spot. And as long as Mike is part of it, I personally see that he's fulfilling his duties. They've fulfilled the insurance part of it.
But if you're comfortable with it, that means a lot to me.
Yeah, it's the
Well, I
same.
don't
I
think
know
we-
we've talked about Blair Colby. If Blair Colby's boat breaks down and he can provide me with a suitable replacement that I agree to, I'll approve it. Just like I would for anyone that, you know, as long as it was as close as what it could be to what they had, operating under the same guidelines, I see that as an easy fix for them in the short term. I think you guys, it sounds like you've given Mike a year to get everything in order and come back to you and prove that he's doing something or gonna have his boat in the water or get us something else.
I think, Mike, that would be the way to understand it. Doesn't necessarily mean that Sunrise has to be the boat that's down here, but if you're involved as the applicant,
Right.
and you get your boat in, fine. If you apply it with another boat, I understand that reasoning. But I think you get to use your spot down here actively, keep it activated, so that, you know, it doesn't look like we're just holding it for you.
I would think if we're gonna do this Dallas thing, then we do it for 1 year and then.
Yeah,
It's
unless
not,
you become an owner of Pura Vida.
Well, that's what I mean, but then again, it's easy for me to put him on my boat and he can do the tours off Sunrise and then he can continue. to-
Yeah, but we don't care about who's the operator.
Right. No,
You're the applicant.
I just think otherwise we're kind of
Oh,
going around the rules we've established.
But if we do this, you know, if he does this for the summer, can it stay in your name? Can it stay
Oh,
in
it's-
Mike's name?
It still is. It's still under Sunrise Tours, just the boat that will be operating, his name is Pura Vida.
Okay.
Yeah, that's,
And he can't advertise. He has to follow the same rules as Sunrise, same pick up, drop off.
Chris, speak
Chris
up.
said something.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
So he has to follow the same guidelines and he cannot advertise his own business. He can only advertise for Sunrise and do the trips that are allotted to Sunrise, correct?
Mike's website, the best of my understanding, is forwarding everything to Dallas's website.
But the trip should be booked through Sunrise, correct? If they are the like operator of it, not like he couldn't get other trips, you know, because of his own and run under Sunrise.
They're not gonna use, I don't think they're gonna use this 2 scheduled trips Mike has. It's gonna be drop off, pickup
That's
type.
just been in the past when I have operators, been more of a drop off pickup because the scheduled trips, now that the internet, everyone's booking things whenever they want, it seems a lot easier.
And if you guys all remember, Dallas came to us and he like basically said he could operate illegally, but he went to Clifton. He's kind of the next in line. He inquired about us in Seal Harbor and that. I think he's a valid candidate for filling this. And I think we've made exceptions in the past, but it's something we should do on a 1-year basis.
you raise the volume, Joe.
I can't, I've tried everything I can. I can't make that thing any louder.
Can you just reiterate what Chris said then for us so that we can
Oh,
hear
actually, I just found it.
it?
Speak again, Chris.
So I was saying that Dallas came before us before, and he basically said he could abuse the system and operate his business, and he didn't. And he asked us about Seal Harbor and like different pickups and asked us about availability. It's kind of the next in line. I say we allow this to happen for 1 year on a trial basis and go from there.
I think that's a consensus, Chris, and, at least I had it.
I don't even know if I'd say trial, I'd say we let Dallas do this for 1 year, and then if they're gonna establish some sort of partnership, you know what I mean, like.
Yeah.
Where it's actually Sunrise, that's good, but otherwise, I feel like we're kind of going around.
Well, I wouldn't nail it down to Sunrise, because if I change the
Well,
name of my boat, I don't wanna.
No, Sunrise, the business.
Okay, that's fine.
Cause you could change the name of the boat to Sunset tomorrow.
Yeah.
But it's still Sunrise business.
I hear you. Any other comments from the committee?
Did you need a vote? Do you ask?
I would like to vote so that we can, I'm gonna say that we approve Mike's application for this ensuing year. Okay? And after that,
We'll review it again.
we'll review it again. I appreciate that. So I'm gonna ask that as a motion. I'll make that as a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay? Any other comments? All in favor of the motion, raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right, thank you. Yep,
Can I throw one more thing out there?
go for it.
Darrell Lutton has done an exceptional job with trying to get safety down in Otter Creek, and I don't know if you guys have had an opportunity to read his historical document that he gave to the advisory committee of Acadia that turned him down, but well worth reading. He really is trying to make it a safe place for local Otter Creek people to get out on the water, and he's sometimes I give Darrell a hard time, but he went above and beyond, and he is working darn good as a town manager over there, so if you guys can do anything to help him out there, that would be awesome. That's definitely a document.
Okay, thanks, Mike.
Thank you, guys, I appreciate everything, see you.
Thanks. So, we have another letter here from the Damon family floats. John, do you want to interject and start the conversation?
Sure, as you all remember, we've been looking at cleaning up some excess floats that are in our harbor. I think we labeled 3, working towards all 3, but the Damon family has one of the floats that we labeled, having an excess float, but they have gone and done some historical digging, and come up with some, in my opinion, some really good information. I've been in contact with the Army Corps. The Army Corps has record of the permit for the Damon floats, but has no information on size. I've looked at all of our maps, done the best I can measuring with the legend that's on the map that says 1 inch equals 100 feet. So as you can imagine, it's pretty tough. And I come up with somewheres between 40 and 60 feet using a very small measurer. So with the information they are going to present to you, I guess it's on you. I don't really have anything else.
All right, I'm Luke Damon. Some of you guys might know me already. Born and raised here. I'm Southwest Harbor born now. My cousin James. This is my grandfather Snickers float from the 60s, I believe. Handed down through to all of us, all the commercial fishermen. Over the years, it has bounced back and forth between 2 floats, 3 floats. It's gone back and forth several times. I remember when I was a kid of us being down to 2 because one of them was terrible, and it was like that for a while, and it was up to 3, and it's down to 2, and it's up to 3. But regardless of that, that's all anecdotal, and I understand. So I did a little digging up on Google. You know, Google, you can see 2023, they did a big reshoot of the whole island. You can see 3 floats on there. One of them was a little more narrow. We replaced one in the middle with a used one that we got from a friend that was a little more narrow, but the only usable side there anyway is the western side. The eastern side, your keel's laying in the mud. So that's the side that the family ties up to. We have 4 commercial fishermen in the family that can utilize the dock at any time. So it's precious square footage up there for sure, especially linear footage going up the boat. But regardless of that, if you go on the 3D viewer that we have on the island on Google, which is a really cool thing to look at anyway. I identify that as 2013 based on 30,000 gallon propane tank I was installing in Bar Harbor at the time. You can see the cranes all around it. So I know that was 2013 when that was shot. And you can see in that photo as well, which was the bottom one on the packet, which I have extra if anybody wants to take a gander. We also had 3 docks then. That was 11 years ago. And there's many times in the middle of that we were 2 docks. 3 docks, 2 docks, 3 docks, as we cycle through. So, yeah, I have no doubt that there could have been a time of documentation that somebody was going along and does some measuring, and yeah, we had 2 docks out there at the time. But as far as I remember as being a kid, I remember us going back and forth with it. So, just wanted to present that information to you guys to look over.
Have you kept up on your mooring chains and stuff?
He's supposed to get them done this year, but yeah.
They're done on a 3-year annual basis. I've personally dove and inspected them myself through Alva Barge before.
Yeah.
So
I like the aerial view showing all the finger floats over. I didn't realize that eastern side was so shallow.
It is shallow.
Yeah.
You can, if you drop 2 tracks by accident overboard, you'll get them at low tide.
Yeah. So you could tie up on the western side.
Western side's good. The north side's decent as long as you don't pull your bow too far over. With bow's not as big of a deal as
How wide is that north side?
20.
So over the years, it's always been 2 floats, never now, and basically 20 by 40 space occupied.
I couldn't hear everything Chris said.
It's like 20 by 40 is 2 floats. Bruce had one, then neglected one, then another one was added. Mostly over the years, the average has been a 20 by 40 since I've been in the harbor, like 2 floats, 2 20 by 20s together.
We've had 3 of them, and since I was a kid, but we've had some rotten ones for sure. Bruce has got on there, and
right. So the unpermitted, like they'd expand, get one you need to replace. There's other ones in the harbor now. So what's going on is that people just like get another float, then leave the other one to the side and not like get rid of it. So that's what John's trying to get rid of. And Rick's envisioning more floats, you know, more north and south mooring in the future.
Understood, Chris, thank you. I get you.
You got comments, John?
I mean, it's, he's got some pictures showing, both ways. He's got some historical information. Like I said, Army Corps doesn't have any square, footage or length, records. They just have a permit for a float. I can't find anything other than the legend that I have on, a very old tattered, map from, I think, back in the early 90s.
So, you would like us to approve the existing situation and you maintain this, square footage? I guess is the best way I can say it.
I have 2 floats out there, or 3 floats, one's junk that's coming out soon, but I would say maybe we should put a note, make a note of what there are for floats now, so it's written down somewhere, so we don't run into this again. And like I said, I have a float right there, and I don't see what it matters if it's 40 or 60 feet there. It's not in the way of anything
No,
else.
It's a little shallow off the southern end there too, a little bit. And, you know, obviously.
No, but any
not
commercial
all
float
size.
needs to be Army Corps permitted. That's the gist of it.
It is Army Corps permitted, but I think the permit is so old that they really didn't ask much about dimensions.
I don't think they took
Right,
any
so-
dimensions.
It needs to be permitted for dimensions and then approved by you. So let's make a motion of a footage that you can accept and we can move forward and they can get an Army Corps permit for that square footage.
Yeah, their permit could just be updated. I've spoke with Sean Mahaney about it.
So 20 by 40, 20 by 50, what are we looking at?
20 by 60. That's what's always been there. I'm pretty sure this went in front of the committee back in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
When Bert and my father first got their license, and at the time, Bruce only had 2 out there. And they wanted to get an extra one, so Bert could tie up out there.
So make a motion by 20
Went
by,
ahead of the committee and they let him have it, so. I don't know why it wasn't documented at that point.
so I make a motion, we accept 20 by 50 nod and now, you know, just in the square footage.
Chris, change that to 20 by 60.
What's that?
20 by 60.
20 by 60 is the existing dimension.
Okay, yep.
Any other comments? I'm gonna ask for a vote that we accept the application that.
Do we have a second?
Second, yeah,
Eric Jones, second.
that we accept the clarification of the description to 20 by 60. All right? That's my motions. Any other discussion?
Does the motion also include updating the permit? Or is
Well,
that
that's,
something else?
those are our records.
Oh, okay.
Those will be our records.
I thought it was with the Army Corps.
No,
No,
keep them out of it.
Okay.
Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion to accept the application or clarification of 20 by 60, say aye and raise your hand.
Aye.
Opposed,
Question,
go for it.
how many floats you looking for?
The
Three,
same 3 that we have, yep.
there's only one circle here.
No, but
They're all
ready.
rated up, they're
They're all-
2020s.
Ah, all right.
Yeah, probably half of them are sitting there and we bought them. You know, that's where we usually got them. A couple were made and, yeah, over the years, it's been a mix, you know.
So just a general discussion, I'm a big fan of floats in the harbor. And I think we could have more. I think, I like the way the boats lay on them, especially those north and south arrangement. And it's it's made our harbor useful for more people. So I'm in favor of it.
I know, like they say, on that, the inner side of mine, I couldn't, at low tide, you couldn't,
I can't-
I mean, an outboard, you
I
could
can't
just
even
fine,
go into
but
mine at low tide on the west side, so my
Well,
boat
that's-
draws too much.
I had
water.
mine dredged out pretty good, I think, but
Yeah,
it's gotta move back.
as soon as we
It
get up
moved in
past here,
storm, so
Put it here.
it's,
shallows right up.
mine was almost into yours after that storm, so we moved.
So do we have any other float
it.
issues out there, John?
I'm working with Benny Hamer and Eric to handle the other two that we had concern with.
Right.
The Hamer one was supposed to have been gone last weekend, but it didn't happen, so I haven't got an answer from why that didn't happen, so.
Yeah, I mean, the.
That one is
floats,
just an
so
illegal float.
The spots where the floats are located, to me, very valuable. And it doesn't make any sense at all to have a crappy old float out there that you can't tie up to, half sunk. And there's some others out here too, right up close. Need to be taken care of. I think it's well worth it. And I encourage you to maintain the floats and be able to use them the way you do.
You guys do need to reach out to Sean and he'll contact me and I'll confirm. And get the dimensions on your permit.
Showing who, I'm sorry.
Sean Mahaney.
Okay. Any other business we want to discuss?
Well, I just wanna say thanks for coming in.
Thanks, John, I appreciate you guys giving us the heads up, and we appreciate the consideration.
Nothing else?
Well, can you talk about Seal Harbor a little bit?
We could.
Rodney.
Hiding in the back there. Rodney.
Yeah.
I forgot, Rodney.
First of all, I wanted to thank you for shifting those floats over, that does make a big deal. I think you gotta have Cody or whoever put them in, come and adjust.
He is planning on it, but as you can imagine with what happened last
Yeah,
winter,
yeah.
he's tied up. I'm
Well,
waiting.
as long as, I mean, you've probably seen it, the ramp, both of them are off the
Yes,
double.
we keep inching it back, but
Yeah.
it keeps.
Okay,
but
good, I
yes,
just wanted to bring that up, but I do appreciate that, and I'm assuming next year, maybe we can have that bridge in.
Once, we'll see how that all fares out after all the moorings are in and all the boats are in and see what it really looks like.
Yeah.
After it's, completely adjusted.
Yeah, I got you. Cause there's problems with everything, we've already got guys tying up the maintenance float, can't get in the maintenance float, the guys in Cranberry Island come in, they spend the day there.
Yeah, we'll be doing something about that.
But that has, if you got to see, that has made more room. Just the shift, it's made more usable area. Can you tell me what ever happened with the horsepower limit on the skiff float? That, you were talking about 25.
It is
horsepower.
25, but it's the 14 feet is really the issue, I think.
Okay.
I don't see,
There's a 25 horsepower limit in Seal Harbor?
there is a northeast. I'm not sure if it bleeds
Yes.
over to Seal Harbor or not.
Well, one of the.
We voted on that
we're
with
gonna-
Rodney. We voted on that and you're supposed to do signage for it when the working group first got established.
I didn't hear the first part of that, Chris.
So when you guys first came to us and established your working group, that was one of the things we were supposed to do, was signage and do the horsepower limit.
Okay, and that's what I was wondering, because there's a 50 horse over there now and a 30, and one of the guys has already sold his outboard and went to a 25 because of that, and I just was wondering has that been in stone yet?
We can make it in stone next year when we do the stuff. I'm in favor of that too, because I think that'll reduce the pressure.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's just getting worse and worse. there.
Right.
And I know a lot of people are just putting their skiffs there and fishing out of those.
Right,
It's a
and that
big
was,
job.
I spoke to one guy that was doing that, he had a big center console, and a couple of the summer people actually do that, the big boat, there was a 20-footer there tied up.
Yeah,
I don't know what the
those should-
horsepower was, but it was a big boat, big center console, and they were tied up for a weekend. And, but,
So. Can you, I have it here in the minutes, it's 1/10/23. Rodney King presents a plan for Seaver Dock with diagrams, present the committee, explains numerous issues. Committee and audience discuss the issues, motion by Moore to place signage at the dinghy dock, starting at a maximum length of 14 feet and 25 horsepower to be enforced by harbor master. And to shift the main pier docks as discussed, presented by King. So last year we did not move the docks, this year we did, but we need the signage enforcement.
Right, so I dropped the ball on the signage then, and I'll get that ordered as soon as I can.
okay, good, and, so, thank you, Chris. Other than that, I don't know how many of you been over there, you probably have, you notice the beach on both sides of the float has gotten a lot bigger after that storm, right? It's really undermining, I don't know how bad it is under there, but it's something that should be, I know in Bar Harbor, somebody came, I don't know who it is, they had an ultrasound on the dock a few years ago, and they could tell actually what was going on under it. And, I can get that information if anybody wants to check it without digging it all up and see if there's a problem or not.
Yeah, I had the highway do some kind of exploratory, and Ben said he, looked the best he could without ripping everything up, and said he didn't really see any issues.
How did he look though? Did he have the ultrasound?
I mean, I think he no, he didn't have an ultrasound. He opened up what was broken and cracked and, looked the best he could, and then they filled it back in with fresh hot top. Obviously, the only way you could ever do what you're asking would be to do what you're mentioning. And nobody has ever mentioned that, so.
I'll get a hold of the name of the company. You can at least ask them what it would entail, because they didn't dig anything up.
Ultrasound the pier.
Yeah, they didn't dig anything up, and but it'd be too bad if somebody, I mean, I don't think anybody is gonna get hurt drastically, but it'd be too bad if they lost a car.
Yeah, I don't, like Ben said, we've had enough warm weather that there's no real sagging anywheres. You would have seen something.
On that north side.
You would have seen something by now, and.
Yeah.
He said he looked the best he could with what was available and what was open there, and he deemed that it was safe to just hot top it back over. Now, not to say that, it's not a great idea to do what you're mentioning, but, no one has brought that up as yet.
At least we know for sure what.
Are you talking about the pier, the whole parking lot?
No, just the pier.
Just the pier.
Because that is undermined, so you can actually look, just from those pictures I sent you, the beach is being washed out because they filled it with sand, so all that sand is running out. So something is, being undermined in there
That's
somewhere.
just new this year.
No, it was there, but it's bigger this year. It is a lot bigger than it was.
I mean, the whole harbor, I've dove the harbor a fair amount. It's, it's all sand out there, so I don't think it's all coming from the pier, but, there could be some of it could be.
Yeah.
That's what they did in Bar Harbor, right? They did
Yeah.
an ultrasound of the
Yeah.
pier, right?
And I can't remember now if it was because they thought they had a problem, and they were checking it, or if they were checking it to make sure there wasn't a problem.
It's a good idea. Forward me the information, and, we can, look
Might come under the
into.
jurisdiction of the highway department.
The pier itself would be ours.
Okay.
So from the pier out
Well, I
is us,
remember
the parking
when they
lot.
built that, they wanted it to be extended to maybe another even 40 feet, and they couldn't because there was no solid road,
Yeah,
so. But
it fell in while they were building it. Remember the end of it fell in? Yeah, so. And another thing, and I apologize, but the crane, what's the story on the crane? That sure would be handy.
I talk to MCM multiple times a week, and Versant is holding us up for some unknown reason on power.
Who's, Mike is holding us up?
Versant,
Oh, Versant.
the electricity,
Is the crane all hooked up? All they need is the
it just
power?
needs power, needs 3-phase power. Versant's trying to
Now,
get,
I read the tag, I was gonna hook it up so we can use a generator, and,
yeah,
it's
Prefer
a
to
single
do
phase
that,
motor.
it may be, the one of these ones over here is 3-phase, they may have switched that one to single phase, but, you know, I'm pushing every day with MCM to try to get an answer, and I haven't been given one yet.
Yeah,
The town and the selectmen approved the money to pay for the temporary hookup, it's all been approved, money's
Yeah.
there, just waiting to write them a check, and I do not know what the holdup is. Versant was trying to force us to put a new pole in, and I think they've gotten around that, but I can't get an answer.
what are they, cause I see they put a stone in,
That was one of Versant's requirements, the town had the stone there within a couple of days of the ask,
yeah.
and still we have no power, so.
You know, if you look at that pole up where the, from the dock up into the woods, it's right almost on that wall. They could get rid of that pole and go from that one right down to the,
So after this year, once we get the money to redo the bathrooms, Rails has offered to pay for us to get a new pole put in to get that line off of their property,
yeah,
which will happen, I think, this winter when they redo the bathrooms.
yeah,
But in the meantime, we need temporary hookup off of what's there, and they're holding us up on it, and I
I get
don't
you.
have an answer why.
yeah. So the bathrooms aren't gonna be done until winter?
You have porta potties for the summer.
Yeah,
I don't foresee any way that those bathrooms will be done before sometime this winter. They're waiting on some grant funding to help, because the insurance company only offered $14,000 to fix and put them back. I think the estimate from Holyoke was somewhere in between 70 and 80,000. Because it's gonna have to be put on a foundation and raised up some,
yeah,
because they're gonna try to keep it from happening again.
Right,
So it's
right.
gonna cost more than,
okay, good.
you know, those plans I think have already been drawn up, and, you know, they bid them out, and there wasn't the money there to do it.
Yeah, I got you.
So they're applying for some grant funding through Fisherman Access. There's some other grants that were thrown out because of the storms. And I think, you know, they'll easily qualify for them, or the town will raise the money to do it, but it was already past town meeting, so there was no way to raise that type
Yeah,
of money
you're right,
without
right,
going to
right.
town meeting.
Yeah.
So the town selectmen voted to put porta potties in there, and in no way, shape or form, not put that bathroom back.
Yeah,
One way or another, just going back.
all right, good. Well, I appreciate it, and I think, Bob did your
And I do.
enough.
I called MCM again today, and I got nothing. So I will call again tomorrow morning. You know, other than the days that I forget, I call them 2 or 3 times a week trying to get an answer, and I don't have one.
Okay, and the only other thing is on the very end of the skip float, the big braided line.
I'm
Is
waiting,
that hooked anything?
I'm waiting on a diver. I can't personally go do it and build a town.
Yeah,
So I have to, waiting on a diver to go over there and do it.
Yeah.
That's
well, I
happening
wasn't
through
sure,
Cody.
I pulled it up, but I thought maybe it was hooked
That's
underneath.
happening through Cody CV also.
Yeah,
So, you know, they're trying their best to get everybody that got destroyed up and running,
right, I
and
get
is
you.
running
Okay,
behind,
good,
but
good.
we are on his agenda. I tried pulling up on the chains a little bit the other day to help pull that out a little bit, but, you know, without hydraulics, it's not happening.
Anything, if you need help, holler, you know, I mean, we could pull a little bit stronger with a pod hauler, I'll pull in.
Yeah, I
pull a
don't
little
know
bit
if
with
there's an
a pod hauler.
angle we could get on it, but the chain broke off when they tried to inspect it.
Yeah,
What happened, so
yeah.
they need a diver to go down, hook into the staple.
Okay, good, good. All right, well, I appreciate you listening anyway, thank you very much.
I appreciate your vigilance there. I'm serious. Yeah.
Like a gnat.
No, it's great.
Do we have any other issues? I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Seconded? Second. All in favor, raise your hand, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Well, thanks everybody, we'll see you in the fall.